From chain explosions triggered by a single coordinated strike to tank rounds fired from 7 kilometers, systematic urban clearing, and drone intelligence that peels back every layer of enemy camouflage. Today's operations span multiple fronts and multiple methods, each one adding pressure the enemy cannot absorb. Reconnaissance teams of the Sever-V Brigade successfully identified the firing position of a Ukrainian Akatsiya, self-propelled Howitzer. Once coordinates were confirmed, FPV drones and artillery were deployed simultaneously in a coordinated strike. The first impact triggered a fire inside the building, storing enemy ammunition at the position. And as the flames reached the stockpile, the first explosion followed immediately, setting off 2 successive chain detonations that shook the entire firing area with 3 consecutive blasts, ensuring nothing remained of the Akatsiya howitzer or its supporting ammunition supply. With the strike mission complete, the mobile fire group immediately transitioned to the next phase, moving to a concealed position in the forest belt, weapons mounted on pickup trucks, scanning the skies continuously along the way. Once in position, they maintained full alert through the evening, watching every movement overhead without pause. When night fell, a wave of enemy drones came fast, attempting to break through toward positions where Russian forces were operating. Every single strike was repelled through the alertness and rapid response of the unit holding that position, protecting not only the airspace, but the troops who had just completed their mission on the front line, ensuring they returned without threat from above. In the Dnipropetrovsk direction, the reality of modern infantry support is impossible to ignore. Armored firepower and unmanned systems do not work in isolation. They work as one. Tanks provide the heavy fire support needed to suppress defensive positions and destroy critical targets, while drones extend that capability through reconnaissance, fire correction, and strike documentation. The focus this time falls on the T-72B3M tank crew of the 1,435th Motorized Assault Regiment, 27th Guards Motorized Division, Center Forces Group, who successfully destroyed an enemy ammunition depot in the sector. Operating from a concealed firing position at a distance of more than 7 kilometers, the crew fired a series of directed rounds using 125mm high-explosive fragmentation projectiles on a curved trajectory, a method that allows targets beyond the direct line of sight to be struck with precision. In the southern defensive perimeter of the Donbass, Yug Forces group units continued the systematic clearing of remaining enemy resistance, with the most intense fighting concentrated in the southwestern, central, and northwestern parts of the urban area. Cut off from their logistics lines, enemy forces were no longer capable of mounting coordinated resistance. Reduced to isolated pockets of opposition scattered across the city, small teams of 2 to 3 soldiers moved methodically through multi-story buildings, enough to neutralize resistance at every corridor and stairwell. To deal with reinforced underground shelters, modified TM-62 anti-tank mines were used as the definitive solution, collapsing bunkers and neutralizing the defensive infrastructure within. In a single day, 94 buildings were fully cleared. A pace that signals the complete capture of this urban area is now only a matter of time. In the Kharkiv region, unmanned systems units of the 11th Army Corps of the Sever Forces Group continued sustained aerial reconnaissance operations to expose enemy positions concealed with considerable care, from permanent firing points and underground bunkers to drone control centers. Specialists analyze multiple indicators of camouflage positions, patterns in freshly dug trenches, infrastructure elements such as communication antennas, ventilation openings, and suspicious terrain contours that broke the natural landscape. Once target coordinates were confirmed, data was immediately transmitted to the command post for precision strike execution, using FPV drones and fixed-wing Molniya drones armed with fragmentation and thermobaric warheads. The destruction of these fortified positions and shelters strips away enemy defensive anchors, significantly weakens their defensive posture, and opens wider operational space for assault units to continue pushing the offensive forward. Today's operations across multiple fronts share a common thread. No position is truly hidden, no supply line is truly secure, and no defensive layer is beyond reach. Whether it is a chain explosion that eliminates an artillery position in seconds, a tank round that travels 7 kilometers to find its target, methodical urban clearing that counts buildings by the dozens, or drone intelligence that reads the landscape like a map, every layer of this operation is designed to leave the enemy with one fewer option at the end of every day. As always, thank you for being here. We hope today's report brought you a little closer to understanding what is really unfolding on the ground.